Will.
What's up? We rolling. We here.
We live.
This is your boy Luel Fantroy back with another Highlighting Views, and I'm so excited to have this brother right here, this guest, this brilliant. I believe he's a mindset coach, mindset genius. He's a storyteller, inspirational storyteller. He's a poet, speaker, writer, motivator, mentor, a model to me, a model citizen, a family man, a man with a good heart. You know what I mean? That I see and that's modeled. And yeah, we connected to some people. And I'm excited to have Tyler up in here. Tyler, the underdog from the Underdog Mentality. I connected. Listen, I'm going to let Tyler talk about himself and describe who he is. He can do it better than I can. But I just want to take a minute to talk about real quick how I connected to Tyler. All right. It was over the digital waves. I'm a digital guy. And we connected. We know some people. Emmanuel Socks and Sandals podcast, yep. Emmanuel Williams. You know him well. I knew Emmanuel back in the day when I went to church back in Mount Olivet back in the day, and we moved away. Anyway, so we was connected, and you local here, and I saw this dude on Instagram, and the profile said Underdog Mentality. Bing, bing, bing. Already like that. He's talking about mindset. All right, mentality, yeah. And the underdog coming from the bottom. You feel me? Then I start hearing him talk, and I really, him talking revealed his mindset, and it came out easy. It came out poetic, and I was like, this dude got a silver tongue, got the gift of the gab, and not in a negative way, but he know what he's talking about. And he's speaking. Then he tells his story. Then I see he shows his family, and I'm a family man, and I'm all about that. And it's we need to give other man, black man, and flowers, and let people know I'm inspired by people. I'm headed in a direction. I believe in progress. I believe in growth mindset. So when I hear and I connect to the other vibes and vibration and mentality of people, I cling on to that. So I've been following Tyler, just looking at his stuff, being inspired, saying I'll love to work with this dude one day. He's the type of network, because I build a network of people who are just like, man, cut from a different cloth, good mindset, not no competitive, just love each other, want to uplift each other and make a difference in youth. All that said, I saw this in Tyler Monk, and I'm just excited, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that I connected with you. And man, I'm just glad you taking your time. I really appreciate this. And Tyler,
brother.
I just open that up. You tell, how would you describe yourself? You know what I mean? How would you describe? I just kind of described you from my mentality, but.
Man, Luel, man, I appreciate you having me, brother. And man, y'all watching this, you got to realize how talented this brother is, man. He's blessed me just in the last about month and a half with a couple of projects that totally have lifted my brand and just created a higher level of engagement. Because I know that my talent is not in the digital space. You know what I mean? Like, I can speak, I can talk, I can interact, I can engage, I can inspire. Boy, that technology, woo, that's a whole nother beast. So my boy Luel, it's great partnering with you, brother. So
appreciate it.
I would just say, man, really, man, I'm just an inner city kid from Portland, Oregon, man, that realized from a very young age that my circumstances were not going to dictate my commitments to who I wanted to become.
Wow.
Now, I couldn't articulate that when I was, a young person growing up. It really took some time and some maturity and some challenges and obstacles that we had to navigate, man. But, I don't think I'm much different than anybody else, man. I think that we're either in a problem, coming out of a problem, or headed into a problem.
Wow.
And I think that, God has graced me with the ability to navigate that challenge. And in a way, with love, with laughter, humility, and confidence, and so for me, just who I am, number one, I'm a husband. I'm been married. We're coming up on 10 years. Crazy how that happened. 10 years, bro.
Congratulations. Shoot, man, 10 years. You know what I mean?
Hey, when I was single as it gets and trying to hang out. that was about a decade ago. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah, yeah.
I met my wife, and she was already had two daughters, and so I took them in as my own. They were 4 and 2. I mean, now they're 16 and about to be 14, and we had two children together. And then we've taken in two children from a family that we just needed to step in and fill that gap that was needed for the babies. And
Wow.
so I'm a father, and I would say 80% of my content is created through the interactions I have with just being a dad. You know what I mean?
That's
And
fire.
you know what I mean? Being a parent is one of the hardest leadership roles that we have, and it's an obligation and a responsibility. So that's first and foremost, and then secondly, it comes down to being who I am, which I believe that my gift is an encourager, an inspirational storyteller, but I'm not necessarily a motivational speaker. I think it's easy for people to put me in that lane just because we want to categorize and box folks in, and that's
Yeah.
okay. I get it. We need to do that because we need to kind of understand where to start from and then learn and build from there. But it's much more than that. I want to be a person that challenges. So I like to call myself an inspirational storyteller and a challenging conversationalist. And I kind of push the envelope on folks to realize not what is, but what could be if we think a little bit different and we create the environments that we want to live and exist in. And that's what the underdog mentality is essentially this. It's an unwavering belief in ourselves, despite the situations, the circumstances, conditions, and the critics that surround us. We have to create the environment we want to live in. And so I'm 37. It took me till I was 33 to figure that out. So if you're watching this and you're a young one, whether you're in high school, college, or you're still, you're my age and you're still trying to figure it out, there's time and opportunity, but there's not time to sit around and not do nothing. We can't sit around. The biggest thing I'll say this, and I'll pass it back, bro. We can't sit around and complain about the lack of results we got, some lack of energy, effort, or mindset we put into something. So you better be marinating on some thoughts and ideas to create the environment that you want to have. And I'll just tell you the truth. Once you do that, I mean, it's the opportunities are endless, and the life that you will be able to live will be much fulfilled. So.
Wow.
That's a little bit
Wow.
about me, bro.
Wow. Wow. That was some heat too. You came with some heat. I appreciate you sharing that. Dang,
Yeah.
there's so much power that you said in there. And I was trying to write down some stuff. You said 33. Yeah, man. We late
33.
bloomers. Are we late bloomers? Court,
Yeah.
I love it
Sure.
because it took me, I'm still taking me, but like I didn't start moving until I was around, 30. I realized, hold on, let me make a business. I start realizing the potential. And you use that word, tap into your potential.
Yep.
And you said, man, in the beginning that you feel like you ain't no different from nobody else. And I like that mentality. And that's why you able to like really with an authentic mentality is really important to people because you are them. My wife always says, I am them, meaning every human, every person, I'm them. You say that again. You said something we either on our way to.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Said you're either, and this was from my pastor, and then I also heard it from the audio I was listening to. But you're either in a challenge, coming out of a challenge, or headed into a challenge. Either way, we're going to have to be the navigators through those challenges. You can't hide from them. And so once you realize that and understand that for what it is, you can be much more prepared, to handle the difficult and the challenging and also the wins and the successes, because some people are afraid of success. I know for me, when I first started going on this journey and I tasted a little bit of success, I felt unworthy of it and I wasn't prepared to handle it, and then so you had to navigate that. So you always going to be navigating something.
Yeah.
You better figure it out. Better get your GPS out. Come on
For
now.
real. And I like that. You
with
got
it.
people like you that can help people, navigate as well. You know what I mean? They can put in the directions and you can just help them get there. And I think you're doing that with your content online. We was talking, you was like, man, I was like, you was talking about content. I'm like, dude, you killing it in content and not just fluffy content. It's like real depth and valuable stuff. Like, man, and it reaches all ages. It's a benefit talking to young people because it helps us simplify the complicated things we do. And
good.
I was teaching a curriculum for a program to seventh graders, and for 2.5 years, 3 years, I think we was virtual of the third year, and we really had to start. I had to start simplifying the way I talk because I was a pastor for years,
Yep.
talking to more grown folks. But then
Mm-hmm.
it really, I said, you know what? I want to speak, and I'm still working on this to any age, but like a seventh grade, like, you know, like I'm speaking to a seventh grader. But I feel like you do that well, and you hit me, you inspire me. You have, you know, I take that and you challenge my mentality. You talking about like creating your environment,
Yeah.
right, within. Talk more about that, to like creating your environment versus stressing about outside environment. What's the
Oh
best?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great question. Really, what I think is like, I was blessed, man. I was really surrounded by people that I don't ever like to say were better than me, but were higher caliber of people. And all I mean by that is, what do I mean by that? I mean that their mindset was already strong. Their affirmation of who they were strong.
Mm.
And and I was attracted to that. And luckily they let me in. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah.
you know, like I was trying to figure it out. My whole identity had been wrapped up in just being an athlete. I was a pretty good athlete and had a full ride scholarship to hoop in college and whatnot. But then after that, I was just kind of lost and just didn't know who I was and who I wanted to become. And I realized something very quickly, that the company you keep produces the results you will reap. Like who you kick it with, you get it with.
Mm.
And essentially, there's this concept that I talk about as far as relationships goes and creating the environment that you want, which it talks about days, hours, and minutes. Now, this is strictly centered around relationships and environment. We have to realize that as people, like, you have choice over your environment once you become a full blown adult and you're taking care of yourself, right? You choose who you choose who you want to be around. You choose the job that you have. Some people say, well, I can't really choose. This is what I got to do. Yeah, this might be something you have to do temporarily, but long term, let's think big picture. There's so many opportunities out there, right? You don't have to settle. So you got your environment, but the biggest thing is your relationships. You know, realistically, you're going to be a result of the five closest people to you. And my mentor told me, Tyler, if you hanging out with five broke people, get ready to be number six. He, he said if you, he said if you're hanging out with a bunch of negative folks, well, you're gonna start being negative. You hanging out
Mm.
with folks, if you hanging out with folks that gossip and, you know, speak down on others, you'll catch yourself starting to do that. And so I took heed to that. And what I realized is I had this concept that I created called days, hours, or minutes. There's people you can spend days with. These are people that are positive,
Mm.
that are moving forward in life, like you, Luel. Like, it's easy for us to connect, and there's no competition. You know, it's how can I support what you're doing? How can you help me support what I'm
Mm.
doing?
Mm-hmm.
We both have vision. So if I call you, bro, and we chopping it up, Ty, what's been going on, man? This is what I've been working on. I got some workshops, got some content. I'm going to San Diego, blah blah. And then I say, what's been up with you? Well, bro, I'm doing this new pod. I got this going. I'm working over here with this organization. I got this idea. And you see, iron sharpens iron, and we're raising the level up for
Mm-hmm.
each other. You got to spend days with those people.
Mm.
Now, here's the category that most people spend time with. These are people you should spend hours with. These are people that are equally as positive. What's been going on with you, Ty? Oh, I've been doing this and this, doing some workshops, got some content, doing this, and they are so encouraging. They are uplifting you in every way, in every form. You flip the script and you say, so what you been up to? What's going on with you? And they say, oh, you know what? Just trying to take it day by day. You know, just trying to figure it out. And what's funny about that is the human brain, how we're made up, it actually makes us feel a little bit good about ourselves, because
Mm.
it's you know, the law of comparison. Now we're looking at what they're doing, we're like, oh well, shoot, I'm doing better than them. You know what I
Man.
mean? Like, you won't ever say that to them, but now you got this. You kind of raise up your shoulders. You got this level of confidence, and you know, you might encourage them, well, that's okay, you know, well, if there's anything I can do to help, you know, keep going or whatever. And those people are usually pretty just content and complacent where they're at. Not content, they're complacent,
Mm.
right? Because I think
Difference.
there's a, you know, yeah, complacency is settling for less than. Contentment is, I'm where I want to be, but I still am growing. I still want to, I still want to do more and
Mm-hmm.
be more and have more impact. So
Mm-hmm.
this is where most of us spend our time in our relationships, is people are that are just kind of resting in a settled place, and they don't move the needle for us. They don't
Mm.
push us forward. So they're not adding or subtracting to our lives. They're just kind of maintaining.
Mm.
And what will happen is, this is most of our relationships. Will we become more comfortable because we don't want to make folks feel a certain amount of pressure when we share our goals and our dreams, and it kind of forces them to think a little bit different. And now, you know, that relationship, there can be some tension. And so this is where most people spend time. Now, the last one is you got to run away from them as fast as possible. These are the people you should only spend minutes with. These are the people that are just negative in life, right? You share something with them, like I got this dream or goal, and I'm trying to, you know, be a speaker that is on all platforms. I'm speaking to young folks. I'm speaking to business professionals. You know, I'm speaking to leaders of countries, whatever. And people look at you and kind of scoff at it like, huh, okay, all right, we'll see. And they're just kind of negative. Or they make little slide jokes, right? And it's the biggest like little slide joke hate word when somebody hating on you is like, oh, how's your little speaking
Wow.
business going? Anytime somebody throw the word little in what you're doing, oh, how's your little clothing line going? How's your little your digital production career going? Little, why little? Why can't you just say how is my speaking career going? It's because
See.
they feel slighted. Now, really, what these people is, you got to understand. Do not get offended. Do not get offended. Your actions and your attitude and your mindset is a reflection of their poor choices. So you're putting up this mirror and you're saying, I have ambitions, goals, and a determination to build something for me and my family and to make difference in this world. And when they're looking at that mirror, it threatens them. It's really a threat to their ego. And
Man.
essentially, that's not really your responsibility to worry about their ego. All you can do is be who you are and what you're trying to create. And you got to be as brief as boxer shorts with these humans. I'll tell you right now. Listen, look, some of these people live in your household, and you can't control that. You can't control that environment. So, what information are you taking in to kind of omit some of that negativity? And I'll tell you this: if you continue to choose about be around negativity, well, then you're going to adopt the negative mindset. If you continue to be around people that are just complacent and settling, well, you'll start settling and being complacent. But if you choose to surround yourself with people that are hungry to make impact and make difference in this world, that's the results that you will begin to create. 90% of our results are built around our environment. So when you are of sound mind and age to make these conscious decisions, you need to be very intentional about the relationships that you keep around you. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not saying that I'm better than the person that's an hours person or a minutes person. No, they just think differently than me. And what I would hope to believe true is that my love, my empathy, and my passion for life can maybe rub off on them a little bit and they could kind of change how they think. But best believe I'm very mindful of the amount of time and energy that I give to those folks because I can't afford it to rest on my mind to become negative or complacent. There's too much life to live. There's too much impact to be had that I just got to surround myself with difference makers. And, you know, you might feel like, okay, well, you ride my high horse. Nah, this is just life. There's too much opportunity out here to be settling and way too much blessings and opportunity in this world to be sitting around negative. And that's all about perspective. It's a choice. Your attitude is a choice.
Wow.
I mean, every day. I don't care. When I say I don't care about your situations, no, I care. But the world doesn't care about the validity of your circumstances or the excuses why you ain't doing what you say you want to do. So you better wake up and you better get after it.
Wake up.
You got
Wake up. Yeah.
It's the first
Like,
of the month. Yeah,
man,
Don't mind
that's
my baby
power.
Mary
Oh yeah, go ahead, get in your water. I got my water. You know.
Jane. Sir, from the gym.
Yeah, I see you working out too. But
Right.
before we go there, I saw your transformation. By the way, you know what I mean. I seen like you see the pictures. You know, the softness,
The face.
then now chiseled, rocked up, wearing. I can't wear them shorts right now, but I will one day. You feel me?
I see you. I see you on your detox journey.
Yeah, I am. I'm on a couple. You know, it's one layer at a time. But before we get there, man, you talk to me. What stuck out to me is the stuff you were saying is it's an inside job. Everything in this society, everything when it don't matter where you put it, intentionally or not.
Yep.
Religion, culture, any kind of certain demographics can be designed in a way that makes us externally focus as external things are the solution to our inside problem. Whether it be connecting to our God, we do that externally. Whether we be connected to significance, we find it externally in something. And what you trying to say is that's what I hear is that external focus is a vulnerability, but the inside job is where all the power is at. And that's what it feels like. You talking about, man, you got a message that is empowering because it's saying you have the control now to pick your circle, your environment, your relationship, because of show you your friends, I can show you your future type of deal.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, bro, this is some powerful stuff. And I like it. So that's what I think about power. So I want you to be more specific. You already said what you're doing because I hear the solutions. Yep. But the underdog mentality, you speak. You tell us what you do right now. I see you speaking. I see you doing speaking engagements and stuff like that. And what solutions? What are the specific solutions that you're providing your audience?
Yeah, man, I love your depthness to these questions, man. Challenging me to give it to you. You said something about power, and really, I just believe in the power of choice. Right? We're both black men that grew up here in Portland, Oregon, inner city. If folks that are watching this internationally are not from Portland, I'll tell you what, I went to college in Bakersfield, California, which is only about 1,000 miles south of Portland. I had roommates from Brooklyn, from Europe, Wisconsin, Chicago. They did not know where Portland was at. And exactly. I felt some type of way about that. I said, hold on, boy, we on the map. You don't know about Portland? They thought Portland was in Utah. It was hilarious. But I'm saying all that to say this, that Portland is considered the most white metropolitan large city in America, basically the highest percentage of white folks. Now, I'm biracial, so my mother's white, my father's black, but obviously, I'm not gonna say obviously. I mean, nobody would ever identify me as a white person, but I connect with black culture. I got love for my white folks too. Yeah. My white family, I love them to death. But the reality is there were barriers and there were situations that we had to go through and grow through, 20 years ago in high school, that forced us to kind of, I would say, navigate things that were unfair, that were unjust, and that were barriers. And during those times, I didn't realize it, but I always had this immense amount of belief in myself. And it wasn't like an arrogance. It was just a confidence that, like, the one thing I knew I had control over was my action and my attitude. And I think so often people give up the ability and place blame because it's easy to complain. It's easy to point the finger.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, even though that finger should be pointed, even though you've been slighted or you've been marginalized or you haven't been given the same opportunities as the person next to you for whatever reason, listen to me very clearly. I believe I've been able to put me and my family in a position where we're in because I don't care about that. I get pumped up when you say, oh, okay, you're disadvantaged, you're marginalized, you come from this community. So really, realistically, you're not going to be able to, do the things you say you want to do. Oh, really? Okay. I have action and attitude. I have power of choice in the matter. So the underdog mentality, number one, it's an unwavering belief in ourselves. We have to have that. But I think that it's hard to have an unwavering belief in yourself until you really understand and realize, number one, your personal genius. You see, we all have gifts within us, and gifts are meant to be given away. But that gift needs to be cultivated. It needs to be taken care of. It needs to grow. You see, I've been doing this thing for 15 years. And now we're just seeing some fruit. Right? There's a book, and there's a book called Water the Bamboo. And believe the author is here from the Pacific Northwest. And essentially it says you water this bamboo for years, literally, and nothing grows. Grows just a smidgen. You barely see anything coming out the ground. But then when about 30 days, that thing grows feet. And then it grows and it grows and it grows, you see. But most people give up because they don't feel that it's worth it. So my speaking and the message and the takeaways that I want to have people understand is, number one, you have to have an unwavering belief in yourself. Your self-image and your confidence is one of the number one keys to success in whatever you want to create.
Mm.
So you got to have belief in you. Second thing is you have to realize that don't nobody care about you as much as you think they do. Well, let me backtrack. Let me reword that. People aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are.
Mm.
People love you and they care about you, but the reality is they're thinking about their situation and what they're trying to work through. So as soon as you could take the eyes off of you and put the focus on others and serving others, right? I believe it was Gandhi that said, um, finding like true success is you have to lose yourself in the service of others,
Mm.
right? So like, take the eyes off of you. It ain't about you. It's about what can you do for other people. And once I started doing that, I started realizing my true gift, my true genius, which is the gift of encouragement and inspiration and challenging folks to think differently in a way that is inviting, but then still like, man, I don't really like Tyler because he's pushing me to think differently. But it's all love at the end of the day because I want you to think differently. I
Yeah.
want you to expand your mindset. So the biggest thing is that it's like, let's have this challenging conversation. Let's realize the potential we have within us. And then let's never give up our power of choice, of action and attitude. That's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look. I'm in the business of controlling the controllables,
Mm. Mm.
fam. Like controlling the controllables. Like
Yes.
so many folks are so much worried about the external things that are outside of their reach, and that's frustrating. That's a frustrating place to be. I've been there.
Yeah.
But let's focus on the thing. But the equally, like this is what I would say. They overestimate the external things that they can't control, and they undervalue
Yeah.
the decision making and the actions and the attitudes that you have control over. Why?
Mm. We were
Why are we doing that?
conditioned. We were
Yeah.
conditioned at the same time. But then I like the question why though. That's the challenge.
Yep.
Because questions open doors and reveals, problems. It does. And
Yep.
problems should spark us to create solutions. You know what I
Talk
mean?
about it. Talk about
Seriously,
it, bro.
man, that's powerful though. You said, man, the power of controlling your actions and attitude. That
Yep.
is power, valuable power. You're highlighting self power and self. You're saying, hey, listen, we didn't try the external. We didn't try it doesn't work. Let's take some self responsibilities and realize
Yeah.
we can be our platform, right?
Yep. Well, and I think, man, and really, I know you was talking to E. You had E on here.
Yeah.
Just was that just the last episode?
But yeah,
Well, the thing,
it was the last episode.
well, with E, it's just like the work that he does and really um, serving the black community in a way I really respect what E does. He takes a different lens on it because he also believes in the power of choice. He believes in the education of the foundation of like where we are at, where we started, how we got here. But now, what are we gonna do about it, fam? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just so believe in whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. Right? There's this concept I believe called vision and culture, right? And vision, vision is what creates like it inspires and creates an initial inertia for a call to action. It's right, like it gets us motivated and excited, right? In every organization, most people have a decent understanding of their vision. Some don't. That's okay. You got to figure out, marinate on some thoughts what that is. But every organization has an idea of their vision. The problem is that there's culture that comes into play, and culture is the glue that holds firm to the vision and to the accountability of what we say we're actually going to do.
Mm.
Right. And so vision is essentially a promise of change, ideas and
Yeah.
thoughts, right? But culture is actually the actions that create the environment that we want to live in. So listen, if you're not in the environment you want to live in, go create it.
Mm.
Go
Mm.
create it. I'm telling you right now, and this might be harsh for some people, but like again, like nobody's gonna do it for us. This is plain and simple. And this is like I'm
Yeah.
not giving you no new information. I'm just packaging it in the way that I
Mm-hmm.
tell it.
Yeah.
It's like if you want that environment, man, I'm telling you, and it will be so worth it when you go get it. Now, you're not none of us individually are that magnificent that we can do it alone. It takes really
Facts.
a village. It takes relationships. It takes networks to be able to do these things. So where I'm at right now in my business and growing and opportunities left and right is all because I've invested in people and I've built relationships and networks of folks that have now saw the value that I provide and are willing to partner up and work together. But it wasn't like that. Like I said, 5, 6 years ago, we
Mm-hmm.
was trying to grind and figure it out. but go through that process. It'd be so rewarding, man. That's just,
That's
we gotta,
facts. And
you
I want to
gotta do
speak
it.
to Emmanuel. Like, yeah, I like
Yep.
because he, like you said, you echoing him the same thing because he's a
Yep.
teacher, a educator, and not only that, but he's pro-black. You know what I mean? And most
Yep.
pro-black get a bad rep of being militant and all that type of stuff. But he does it with grace, empathy, education, and forwardness. Like
Yep.
now, what we go do now, and even y'all last podcast, which was inspiring. He was talking
Man,
about how, hey, yeah, Socks and Sandal podcast. Matt, that's part of the him being his platform. Him creating a Socks and Sandal podcast just boosted and added value to my entrepreneur, my self development, and everything like that. Period. And that's why. Anyway, so one of the best podcasts he had was you on it, and both of y'all chemistry was fire, and y'all speaking where I'm at, and also your story is dope to hear more about you. But no, yeah, I like how you met that approach, Emmanuel. How is talk about that? Hey, man,
yep.
the problems and stuff, but he gives the solutions without creating more problems. And
Yep.
but yeah, we need to hear more of that. We need to hear more of that, taking it into our hands. Ain't nobody here to rescue us. That's why I came up with Be Your Platform. Instead of waiting
Yep.
for somebody to give you opportunity, realize your opportunity. Instead of waiting for a promotion, promote yourself. And I believe when you promote yourself, it's serving somebody else. Instead of waiting for that right connection, first connect with yourself. You know what I mean? And so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you kind of said it. But how would you describe your why? Like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's everything. My why is clear and it's simple. When I started this thing, I went to my homie, his name's Nisa Bobahim, and I shot him out in Emmanuel Socks and Sandals podcast. He's a mindset guru coach. Like that's what he does, right? He coaches people like in very intentionally and intensive on the mindset it takes to succeed, whether that's business or sports. That's the kind of the lanes he's in. So I sat down with my boy and I said, man, fam, I know why I want to do this. He said, well, why? And I was saying a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of fluffy, cool words and things. He's like, well, you gotta narrow that down. He said, you gotta have a crystal clear vision. And he told me, he said, Ty, you gotta understand there's the why, there's the what, and there's the how. He said, really what it sounds like is you know your why. You just got to put it down in words. So when people ask you that, you know how to respond. And you know what you want to do. You want to speak. You want to be an inspirational storyteller. You want to be a poet. You want to inspire people to live into their greatness. And then he's like, the challenge that you're having right now is the how. So what I would encourage everybody to figure out that's watching this, listening to this, you need to know your why first. That's the foundation. That's what you build from. If you're building a house, you're not going to start building the house before you actually, take out the dirt, level it out, lay the cement. That's what's actually going to take a long time, and it's a lot of money to do that, by the way. It's really expensive. So my why is to help people tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. Still, again, we argued about this. Still kind of fluffy, still kind of ambiguous, but that's how I like to get down. It leaves such a gateway to different mediums and vehicles that I can operate in. So I want to help people tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. I do that as a father, do my best to do it as a husband when my wife will take some advice that I try to give. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I do that as a mentor. I do that as a speaker. I do that as a coach. I do that just in my everyday life. I do that if I'm going to Trader Joe's and I'm checking out and I'm asking them about their day and they telling me about something. I want to try to give them something, right, to help them realize that they have an incredible potential of greatness within them. And so I don't want to be so rigid in my why. I want it to be pretty broad, and it allows me to hop in different vehicles to accomplish that goal.
I love
So
that.
so when you think about your why, it's really it's like your personal vision and mission statement. So again, mine is to help people tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. And what I love about what I do is I don't come in and tell you how I think you should live your life. I don't come in and tell you this is what works for everybody. I want to know what you want to accomplish. Then let's have a conversation of how we can attain those things.
Because I hear that from you too.
Yep, absolutely. That's listen, if I give you all the sauce and all the energy and all the ideas, and there's no personal ownership over any of those ideas, you're not going to be that committed very long because it's not yours. It's not your idea. It's somebody else telling you what you should do. So that's where you got to come into the fold and you got to bring something to the table so we can work with it. So
Man,
that's it,
real,
man.
that's
That's
real
it.
good.
That's the why, bro.
And I
That's the
like that.
why.
And I like how you describe. I never heard nobody said that, like not keeping your why so narrow. But it's like, hold on, your passion is overflow for like this, where it can
Yeah,
go. Yeah, that's dope. That's flexibility, pliability.
need it.
What is your current obsession? Like, it can be a show, it can be a snack, it can be something. It can be anything. It can be growth. It can be anything. What is your what is your current obsession, Tyler?
It it will and always will be the Portland Trailblazers. Listen to me clearly.
Ha!
I'm way too invested. I'm on Reddit. I'm on Twitter.
Dang.
I'm on Bleacher Report, ESPN, obviously. I mean, since a little young boy, man. That's when I think back about the challenging times in life. Back in the day, we had the antenna and you could maneuver it, have some
Yeah.
aluminum up there, and that's all I had was the Blazers, man. So it got me through some just
Mm.
some difficult times, and I had such a connection to the sport and the game, and such a passion and love for the team. And I know a lot of people listening to this probably think sports are trivial. And speaking from somebody that played at a pretty high level, like sports teach you so many things in life that you won't get in any other area,
Mm. That's
right? Unless
facts.
maybe the military, something like that, right? Like where it teaches you teamwork, it teaches you dedication. It makes you do things when you physically or mentally don't believe you can do it
Mm.
collectively together. You have people, like I said, I went to college and I had me from Portland. I was the only one from Oregon, California, Chicago, Europe, Wisconsin, like people from all over the place who come together and have a common goal. So
Mm.
my obsession is really sports in general. I love sports, mainly basketball, football. But the Blazers, man, I have an unhealthy, most people would say, my wife would for sure say that. I mean, obsession with just the game. I love it. It's beautiful. It brings people together from all walks of life for a common goal and a vision. So
That's
that's
dope.
it, man.
I
That's the
love I
obsession,
love, I
bro.
love how you shared that. That's dope. Blazer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up as a Laker fan. Then I
Oh yeah.
switched over to Blazer fan, all that type of stuff. But I'm
Yep.
not I grew up a football family, but I like how you shared that passion.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not just passion, but you broke it down how what it meant to you, how it served you, and how it. I
Yep.
love that. That's important. That's why I asked those
Yeah.
questions. Anyway, where can we find you?
Yeah, yeah, you can find me, man, on all the traditional platforms. So my biggest one that I would say the one that I post the most content on consistently is Instagram. And so if you just look up the Underdog Mentality, you'll find me there. I'm on LinkedIn as Tyler Monk. You can find me there on LinkedIn for my folks that want to connect professionally. Twitter, Tyler Monk. You can find me there. Facebook, Tyler Monk, the Underdog Mentality. You can find me there. And my whole goal with my content is just to be transparent, be vulnerable, and add value to people. I think sometimes I like to be a little funny, so you have a good time there. But there's always going to be a message within whatever I'm sharing to uplift, to encourage, and to help people live into their potential greatness. So it's been much love, Llewell. I appreciate you connecting me to this opportunity, bruh. And I'm gonna be in your
Absolutely,
ear. I'm gonna be in your ear real soon because I got a pretty big project, man. I gotta
man.
I gotta throw your way to see if we can get some stuff rolling.
Oh, that sounds dope, man. Appreciate you being on here. And by the way, I wanted to tell you, we didn't even get into the fitness and all that type of stuff. We will.
Yeah.
But by the way, you are hilarious, bro. That's what I think. You funny. No, you funny. Like, that people sneaky funny. They don't, but like, dang, this dude, if he did stand up comedy, because I remember it was snowing a couple years back, and
Yeah.
boy, you was like, look at these kids. Your commentary on like the kids without the right equipment, and I was like, my kids too. I'm ghetto too. Dang, and I was
Oh,
literally
bruh.
dying, bro. And your commentary be cracking me up. I was like, this Tyler's low key. You tap into that right there too.
Yeah, hey, that's when as a speaker, it's really like because I rapped before, right? So I
Yeah,
want to entertain people. I don't want to entertain you with without value, right? So my
yeah.
commentary, it's going to be related to my content. I tell you what, bro, I remember I'm looking outside right now on our hill that we was when we moved into this house. I had kids out there with socks as gloves. We was using
Yeah.
the tops of garbage cans to slide. All the friction couldn't
Oh,
even slide. Oh, that's funny. I'm glad you remember that. That put me back in that
oh,
good space.
man.
Oh, it's
Anyway,
love, bro. That's
but
love.
all right, man. Have a blessed day. Thank you for blessing mine, man.
Yep, I appreciate you, Lord. We'll connect soon, fam.
Yeah, peace.
Luel.